This is our first time trying this, so we will see how it goes. But we just felt it instead of just recording it and wait until Tuesday to get this all out, that we would air it out here on the channel. So I'm your host, Colton Smith, here joined by co-host Ben Miller and co-host Brandon Bull Davis. Fellas, I'm getting the link out to Twitter and some other people really quick, but just give a quick little shout out. How was your guys' weekend, starting with Ben?
Yeah, my weekend was really good. I got to go out last night to a costume party, celebrate Halloween. That was definitely a lot of fun. And, of course, watched some college football, of course, and also the NASCAR race. And, yeah, I would say it was definitely a crazy one that we'll definitely get into. And but, yeah, overall it was a good weekend. Bull, what about yourself?
Man, it was good until about an hour ago. Before the race today, started out good. The 3-year-old asked her what she wanted to watch, and she said she wanted to watch race cars. So she didn't make it through the whole race, but she did watch some of it with me.
Nice.
Yeah, well, at least she got somewhat of a show to begin with, for sure.
Yeah.
But Ben, what were you for your Halloween costume?
Oh, as a matter of fact, I dressed up as the Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper?
The Grim Reaper.
We'll have to get a picture of that, and I'll have to may or may not use that as a headshot if I ever need it for you. Maybe a new profile picture.
Yep.
All right, so I got the tweet out. I do want to send it to my buddy who gave me the idea, or I'll just tell him that I'm live. Buddy Spence, shout out. I had thought about it, but then Spence said it, and I was like, that's probably a good idea. So shout out Spence. I went to Martinsville with him.
Nice.
But we are live. Let me pull up the chat over here on my right, and then I think we can go ahead and get into this. Can I pull it up? We're doing this a little differently than I do my live streams on that of NASCAR. We're on a completely different program, so I just want to make sure everything's coming in well. Bull, do you happen to have it pulled up at all?
I'm working on it. I just got the tweet. Yep, I got it.
All right. You looking at yourself?
No, I'm just reading the first comment I see.
All right, well, you mind shouting that out because I do not have it pulled up right now.
So I don't have it. First comments from Sniper Kitty 43.
All right.
Denny needs to kick his crew chief's ass.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Because my dad was making the point. I was like, no, Dad, that's not fair. That's not fair. Because at the end of the day, I don't think it's a fair decision to have to make. Denny Hamlin had that thing with 3 laps to go, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was about to start my rant.
Go. I was going to say, we probably each have our own individual rants to go on here. But let's let everybody get in the chat here.
Our buddy Josh, what is more trash, Goodyear tires or the Bengals defense?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
That is a great question.
And then looks like your buddy Spencer. Has anyone checked on Chinry?
Yeah, Chinry needs to get in here. Actually, let me send Chinry a text right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are live. Chinry, get in here. You want to get in the chat. All right, let me pull this baby up so we can get this show on the road. So I want to make sure I see the chat as well. Keep an eye on all that. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. Goodyear tires definitely made a run for today, but the Bengals defense was just as atrocious. So
yep.
But let's go ahead and get into this. I said in the group text that I don't think we really need a recap, right? We can pretty well recap it pretty simply as Denny Hamlin started the race, had the lead. William Byron had the long run speed. Hamlin had the short run speed. It seemed like as the race went on, Hamlin seemed to just have so much short run speed that Byron couldn't quite catch up to him. Even when he had a faster car, but the problem was we couldn't get a long enough run to really see that play out because that was going to be such a fun battle, I think, between Byron and Hamlin. I think that would have been such a more satisfying championship if that were the case, right? So, but anyways, Hamlin clearly was the fastest car in the short runs. Blaney had a bad fast car. Heaven forbid he would have been a part of the championship because he won the race. So could have been a completely different, play out with him having to, worry about championship strategy. But anyways, Hamlin pretty well led throughout. Then he had an issue in the third stage where his pit crew was just a little bit slower. He fell back to, I think, like literally 11th or something like that. Was working
11.
his way back through the field, but thanks to the Goodyear caution that came every like 45 laps. I need to get the stats on that. Like, what was our longest run of the day, right? And so thanks to that, we would just have Hamlin was able to get back closer. Chase Briscoe might have had the best car in the field. Like, that's not what I don't see enough people talking about that. That dude blew 2 tires, went to the back of the field. And realistically, I question why he took 2 tires on that stop, the first stop at least, because if he took 4, he would have been still like 6th place or so. And at Phoenix, you can make that ground. And he had the fastest car on the long runs. It happened once or twice when he was able to not blow a tire, right? Maybe he didn't trust that. I don't know. But I think Briscoe really had a shot if he was able to do that. As as Josh shouts out the face of JGR. We have an obscure IndyCar driver, Kyle Larson, win the championship from IndyCar fan Blake Flynn. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, Chris, I feel you. It's just like, regardless of all the other stuff around it, it's just a very, very sad way to end our season, right? Because it all things considered, it was an entertaining race. No matter how gimmicky the Goodyear tires were, everyone was locked in at the end of that race, which you can't say the same for some other championship 4s, for better or for worse. But anyways, to recap it, I mean, y'all saw it. We came down to the final restart, or the final caution, I should say. William Byron blew a tire with 3 laps to go. Denny Hamlin had set sail after an incredible move. That should be talked about a bunch, because you had the 2 tire strategies of Briscoe and Larson. They had the lead, but then just obviously the fresher 4 tires were going to prevail. Byron initially gets the lead, getting around him, but Hamlin was inside. Is how it worked. And then Byron got to his inside and was able to use that momentum to get the lead. But then he had to brake so much because he took the apron, and going into turn 1. He had to brake so much. Hamlin was able to get a huge momentum, swoop down the inside, take the lead, and like I said, set sail, a 3-second lead that he accumulated over just 20 or so laps. So set sail, 3-4 laps to go. Byron blows a tire. The guy who had a squeaky clean record all race long, no mistakes on pit road, no blown tires. It all comes to an end. Likely, obviously given his all, as he should, no matter how far out of the championship race he was. But that led to our final caution, which Hamlin led the field down to the pit road. They went ahead and took 4 tires, which is definitely a very questionable decision, to say the least. I understand it from their standpoint. They didn't realize how many people were going to take 2 tires. But at the end of the day, Cliff Daniels made the right choice. He was ahead. He at least was ahead of the 8 ball and not having to rely on a miraculous restart without Joey Logano in front of him, which ironic that Joey Logano played a part in Hamlin not getting the championship here. But I definitely see that. And but Kyle Larson at the end of the day is your champion. Yeah. And Ryan Blaney wins the final race of the year. And here we are. But I'll go ahead and let somebody else talk. Bull, you got a lot of emotion. Do you want to get it out? Do you want to let Ben go first? I'll let you decide.
Let's let Ben go, because it's the more I sit here, the more pissed off I get. Because that was so bullcrap. Had a great race, and then the freaking Goodyear tires. We've complained about it all year on here about the tires. They either go 500 laps or they go 30. There's no in between where drivers have to actually save their tires, and you have to have strategy. It's putting the drivers to work. Instead, as soon as they just blow. There's no letting the tires wear out, running 60, 65 laps, letting it wear out. Instead, you get to 30, 45, 30, 40 laps. They just blow. Like, what is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's – I mean, overall, though, just a crazy race. I mean, especially with this Goodyear tire, I mean, like, it was weak. It was absolutely weak. I mean, but yeah, like I said, overall crazy race. But I mean, like I mentioned, the Goodyear tires and all that. But just starting off with Denny Hamlin, I mean, as a racing fan, I definitely feel for him for sure. I mean, all weekend he deserved to win that championship. And I mean, he obviously proved it all season that he deserved to break through to get that first championship. I mean, he had a fast car all weekend. He started on the pole. He led a race high 208 laps. I mean, he absolutely dominated. I mean, as soon as he got the lead, he was really hard to catch. And, but yeah, he had that thing won. And just really unfortunate for driver 11. I mean, he proved it all year that he can win the championship. And I mean, when you look at this guy's resume, he's done everything there is to accomplish in NASCAR. I mean, you're talking about a Daytona 500, 3 Daytona 500s, I should say, Coke 600, Southern 500. And I mean, he was so close, three laps away from getting that elusive first championship to basically complete everything in his career. And I mean, it just all unraveled for him. It just unraveled for him. And I definitely feel for him as a fan. I mean, he definitely deserved to win that championship. But yeah, it's just really disappointing for Denny Hamlin.
Yeah. 2 great points in the chat before I let you go, Bull. Spencer said, is it time to not let Goodyear have a monopoly anymore? I have often thought that. I just don't see a world where that ever happens. I think that's a great point. And then Sniper Kitty says, I think the tires blowing is also because teams are pushing the limits of tire pressures, which is a great point. It was a talking point throughout the broadcast was, well, you see that guy blow a tire. Do you let the tires let a little air out or add a little air, but then you're going to lose speed? And that was kind of the battle. And I think that's a great battle to kind of have, but it shouldn't be such a harsh reality. It shouldn't be a blown tire at the end of that. It should be your car gets slower because you put less or put more air pressure in the tires, if I could speak. You know, it shouldn't be your tire blows if you don't put enough air pressure in there. It should be you have a really fast short run car, but after 15, 20 laps, you're going to get eaten up because you put not enough air pressure in the tire. And that's the balance that I think Goodyear needs to find. But Bull, I will relinquish it to you. Let us hear it.
So also, I've been one of the 3 of us the last couple weeks that like the playoffs. I know Colton, you mentioned you liked the full season. Ben was kind of on board with that, but I was one that liked the playoffs, liked the Game 7 moment. We talked about it a couple days ago on our pre-race show. Going back even to the Xfinity race, we talked about how Connor Zilisch deserved to win the championship there, and he lost too to Jesse Love. Now we get to tonight's race, and we can say we made a case for all 4 drivers, but Hamlin was the most deserving driver to win the championship this year. Had the most wins on the year, had 14 top 5s, I think it was. Instead, we have Kyle Larson with 3 wins on the year, winning the championship because of a blown tire from his teammate with 3 laps remaining, and Hamlin had a 3-second lead. What other sport do you get that?
Nowhere.
I like the playoffs, but something has to change. And this moment with 3 laps is what changed my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just looking at Kyle Larson's season, I mean, from the beginning, I mean, he proved that he was a championship contender. I mean, he was obviously the favorite at the beginning of the year to win the championship, but when you go into the summer, I mean, basically since the Indy 500, he just really wasn't the same driver. But I mean, when you go into the playoffs, I mean, this guy was not even close to showing that he was a championship contender. I mean, even though that, but I would actually, let me put it this way. So he started off the playoffs rough, like I mentioned, but as time progressed into the playoffs, I mean, the round of 8, that's when he flipped the switch, and they were showing their potential on how they can end the season. And I mean, it definitely played out for him, though. I mean, he had a strong car in Las Vegas, led a race high 129 laps in that one. Didn't get the win, came close to winning at Talladega. Had a top 5 car in not Las Vegas, Martinsville. But yeah, it was definitely an odd year for Larson, but yeah, it's definitely but now he's a 2-time champion. So yeah.
So Chenery makes the point, and I have to bring it up because while I'm fully with you in the disappointment that Denny Hamlin did not win this championship, Larson deserved it. He won the regular season points format. No, that's not the format that we're under, but you can't necessarily have both. And Bull, you were not one campaigning for the full season format. So I'm not necessarily pointing out you. I'm pointing out the fans that kind of go with the full season format. But now all of a sudden, oh, we hate the playoffs because Larson won over Hamlin. Well, you don't really get it both ways. Larson is the first driver since himself to win both the playoff and non-playoff championship. And the only other 2 drivers to do so is Kyle Busch in 2019 and MTJ in 2017. So I am completely disappointed because I think Denny Hamlin deserves a championship no matter the format. And this is a point that could go even further back into the chase. There's probably years that a regular season champion and chase champion did not align, and people didn't necessarily start banging the doors for it. So I'm not necessarily trying to belittle it, but it is a point to be made that, I mean, if this was a playoff format, I don't think Hamlin would have been within a shooter's reach of the championship, but that doesn't change the fact that he was 3 laps away. If we're going to glorify, which not many people do, but if we're going to glorify Joey Logano winning a championship, if I'm going to glorify Chase Elliott winning a championship, then why do we have to change our minds and not be disappointed when Denny Hamlin doesn't win a championship? So while I do see the point of Kyle Larson winning under a full season format, that means I don't necessarily say he's a non-deserving champion. I still think it's fully valid to be disappointed in Denny Hamlin not winning this championship. And I think it's just so heartbreaking because all of the stuff Denny has gone through this year, he has gone through so much. And I don't laugh because I think it's funny. I laugh just out of like concern. Like he looked broken. And I hope he is okay. He is in my thoughts.
Did you see his comment after the race? He said,
I saw what he said.
Yeah, at this moment, he doesn't even want to drive a race car anymore. His fun meter is pegged.
I mean, understandable.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be?
I mean,
sure.
He had the blown tire or the flat tire under caution. And I didn't even know about the jack roll until the race. So you have to at least tempt it with the first jack before you can get the second one. So that caused him to have a slow stop there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, if you have a flat tire, that as slow as those cars sit, you should be able to use a second jack there anyway. That's only going to slow you down. And that's not just for Denny, that's for everybody.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Kyle Larson is a 2-time champion now.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about that? Because if we're being realistic, Kyle Larson and I think I even said this in our show on Friday, Kyle Larson he's had a good enough season. He should have had a second championship at some point with how he's performed throughout this decade. So at the end of the day, as much as we feel that way, what do we feel about Kyle Larson winning this championship, starting with Bull?
A week from now, I might feel better about it. But right now, I'm crushed with the way Denny lost it. He deserved it. Yeah, like Chinry mentioned, Larson would have won it under the full season format. But the year that Denny's had, everything that he's going through right now, and honestly, the fans were robbed of a hilarious moment of Denny getting crowned the champion on Sunday and having to go to court on Tuesday with NASCAR. Like that would have been the all-time greatest moment.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm definitely, and just like you, Bull, I'm definitely heartbroken for Denny Hamlin. I mean, obviously, we all are, and a lot of fans are heartbroken for Denny Hamlin. But yeah, I feel like Larson. I'm fine with him being the champion this year. I mean, I feel like that he's had a good enough year, and no matter what the circumstances were, I mean, going into this race, I mean, we all knew that these 4 drivers, Briscoe, Larson, Byron, and Hamlin, they were all, no matter who came out on top, was going to be a deserving champion. I mean, these 4 guys have had a great 2025 season, and yeah, I'm totally fine with Kyle Larson now being a 2-time champion, because I feel like with everything that he's done this year, I feel like he's definitely deserved it, and he definitely earned it with his performance in the round of 8. I mean, like I mentioned, at Las Vegas, Talladega, Martinsville, I mean, he showed great consistent speed, and he was putting together consistent results, and yeah, he's definitely deserves to be a 2-time champion for sure.
I'd like to open it up to the chat. We may go talking, but I know Chenry has definitely shared his opinion, and looks like C. Austin's excited. He also, Bull, I don't know if you saw, he said you are a machine. Don't know how he keeps up with NASCAR and NFL at the same time like he does.
That's my buddy Coach.
Okay. I mean, Bull, you are an absolute machine, so he is not lying there. But yeah, so if anybody wants to share their thoughts in the comments, please, we want to bring them up. I love how Josh has said face of JGR and has apparently not decided to add into the chat. But I mean, let's talk about the face of JGR, because I really do think, and tell me if I'm crazy, that Chase Briscoe might have had the best car of the day. I mean, he didn't qualify as well as he has all season long, but I think he had a car that was built for the long run and built to work its way through traffic. Made a couple adjustments, but at the end of the day, once again, Goodyear comes striking down. Ben, I'll throw it back to you. What are your thoughts on Chase Briscoe and how he performed?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, he didn't really qualify the best, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting to see Briscoe today. Especially with the tire trouble that he had today, with dealing with 2 flat tires, and I mean, it was up and down kind of day for Briscoe. But yeah, I mean, when he got mired back in traffic, I mean, there was a time when he was running in 32nd, and there was a time during the race where I was keeping up with him, and yeah, he was getting through traffic really good, and yeah, I definitely feel like he definitely had a good car, and but yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, man, what could have been for Chase Briscoe? But I mean, overall though, he should be really proud with the year that he had this year. I mean, especially with his first full-time season with Joe Gibbs Racing, and yeah, he should definitely be proud of that for sure. I mean, overall, what a great season for Briscoe.
I know Josh has been a big fan of him going back to early season, calling him the face of JGR and whatnot. He had a great race today. How many times did he work his way back up to the front? At one point, I texted in our group chat and said, there goes the first one. When he had that first issue, I thought he was done for. And within the first couple laps, he made up 11 spots, worked his way back up to the front. But how much of his tire pressure issues come from his setup? Because I guarantee he had a very aggressive setup, was very aggressive on tire pressures to be able to make those moves.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do want to ask you a question. If you're Chris Gale and that final caution comes out after Byron blows a tire, what decision are you making? What call are you making?
Here's the question that I kind of would want to bounce back and that I was going to kind of have as my next question. To answer your question, my pick would have been 4 tires until I saw Kyle Larson take 2. Because guess what? You're the last pit stall on the longest pit road on the circuit. You can make the change to do 2 tires in the time that it took, because Larson was halfway, maybe even a little bit on the front side of pit road. I think you absolutely can make that change to 2 tires. Like Tundra was the 4-tire call, Camry be the 2-tire call, Camry, and then you only put out 2 tires, because I think at the end of the day, that's you put the ball in Larson's court by taking 4 tires there once he did 2 tires. And I don't know, I guess he thought since Larson already took 2 that he wouldn't. But yeah, my question is, do you think that am I crazy for thinking that he could have foreseen seen like had a spotter or somebody say Larson 2, and then make that adjustment himself? I feel like I've seen that in the past before.
See, I thought about that, but my thought was you already have game planned for having to replace 4. You go changing that up to 2 that quick. That's where you're going to lead. You're going to make mistakes, and that money stop right there. You can't afford to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But my thought is he's had the fastest car. He had a 3-second lead. You know, some other people are going to gamble. What's the chances on just staying out right there?
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the results here, if they have it up here on the website yet, I guess not. Maybe. Come on. There you are. Okay. Blaney won. Keselowski got second. Keselowski stayed out. Larson ended up in third. Hamlin ended up in sixth. So, I mean, Hamlin had the fastest car all week. I'm not saying that he would have won, but he could have finished in front of Larson. You can defend that. Having to be the aggressor instead of the aggressed is the defense is just putting in a different ball court. So while originally I didn't think it was that big of a deal, I kind of do. Yeah, I think this was a mistake on the pit crew, but I'm not going to blame not pit crew, the crew chief call, but you can't blame that whole thing on him. It is an impossible decision in the first place that shouldn't even have been made. By the time they were coming down pit road, Denny Hamlin should have crossed the start-finish line and become a NASCAR champion. And unfortunately, thanks to Goodyear, that's not the case. I mean, it really is. It's not Byron's fault. Like, Byron is a hell of a driver. He was giving it his all, sure, but he's also competing for a championship. So in the end, they knew that 11 car was faster. They knew that the 11 car was going to win on the short run. So they had to try and do something. So what they do, they lowered those tire pressures. And that's eventually what the decision that didn't win the 11 championship and sure as hell didn't win the 24 championship either. Bull looks like you got another fan in the chat. Hunter said,
I just saw Hunter pop in. I'm interested to see what he has to say because he is not a Hamlin fan.
Okay.
I'm interested to see what his thoughts about it are.
To be clear, I'm not a Hamlin fan by any stretch. He was always one of my more hated drivers. I say hated in a sports sense, obviously not legitimate hate. I only legitimately hate Logano. But yeah, I mean, and I'm just devastated for him because, like, we all have an idea of what it feels to put everything into the sport or put everything into something, right? And
oh no,
probably none of us. Yeah, no, that's exactly. I wasn't going to be the one to say it. Shout out Hunter because he's the one to bring it up. 2016 Edwards vibes is exactly, and thankfully,
good point.
I hate to admit that at that point I was not a diehard NASCAR fan, so I wasn't as locked in. I was obviously still an Edwards fan, and very hurt by that finish. But yeah, if I was actually as locked in like as I am now, like if that ever happened to Chase, good lord. Thankfully, he got his championship. But and Chenry makes another good point. Is this the breaking point? Is this the cup runneth over for Denny?
With the way this played out, and depending on what happened with the lawsuit, could you see Denny just being done?
I could see it.
I doubt
I doubt he
can.
goes into like disappearance like Carl, but I can see it. Like, what more? You know that they're going to switch up the. It just when you get to that point in your career, it's really hard to go out for another year, right? Like, you know, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, when they're, I hate to be the one to go stick in ball sports, but I mean, probably the same thing for Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson towards the end of their careers. Each year, it is a real decision of whether you want to keep doing this or not. You've won your championships, you made your money. What are you really doing it for anymore? Obviously, Denny is doing it for a championship, but he just had potentially the last chance he will ever have in his career to win a championship. Is that whatever the saying is that what breaks his back, you know? Or that's not a good thing because he actually did break his back, but you know what I'm saying? Like, is that what unfortunately brings to the end of the career? I don't know. I'll let Ben, if you have any thoughts on what we've been talking about, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see. I mean, who knows? I mean, that might have been Denny Hamlin's last shot to win a championship, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely debatable for sure. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, just slipped my mind, but it kind of did bring back 2016 vibes a little bit. I mean, when we go back to Carl Edwards's championship that was ripped away in 2016. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, say that again. Sorry.
Which is why I hate Logano, like on a personal level.
Yeah, understandable. But yeah, I definitely, like when I saw that yellow come out with William Byron and 3 to go, like we talked about, Hamlin was going to win the championship. He was going to break through to get that championship, and I mean, it just unfortunately didn't go his way. And yeah, like that's what I think of is that's what I've been thinking about is that 2016 championship battle. I mean, that should have been Carl Edwards' championship, but yeah, just really unfortunate for Hamlin for sure.
But, Spencer's ruffling up some feathers in the chat. Said he should have beat Jimmy in 2010, and history would have been changed forever.
What do you think about that, Ben?
Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all. Johnson should have won it. I mean, Johnson deserved that championship.
Okay. I'm glad you're at least willing to admit that Carlo deserved 2016. I'm glad we got that out of you tonight. Yeah, definitely feel that it's just one of those deals. And I'm not saying that this new NASCAR system, whatever they go with, will completely eliminate thoughts like that. I know a full season format will completely eliminate that, but I understandably don't think that's necessarily where we're going. It sounds like a chase is what we're working with here, which well, we saw what happened in 2011 with good old Carl again. I guess I'll just bring up that cherished memory. That's actually what made me stop watching the sport heavily for a little bit. Hunter makes a point. Also, the next gen car sucks. Heim did it on 4. Once you're in dirty air, diffuser is useless, and that's the main source of downforce. I agree. The next gen car sucks, and that can even be added to the point of why Goodyear in the first place had to get these aggressively soft tires is because they're trying to figure it out. So I obviously blame goes there. Blame goes to the next gen car. Blame goes to the playoff format for this situation we find ourselves in. But I hope, what I do hope does not come out of this is Goodyear stops with what they're doing, because I think there has been good examples. Well, I know you said there was no middle ground, but I feel like there were a couple races where we did have that middle ground of not too soft, not too hard, but there was a fast long run and a short run passing was possible. I think it really has only been Gateway is one that comes to mind for me off the top of my head. There's another one that's not coming to mind, but I really think that I hope that this does not scare Goodyear because I think they have been making headway. It's just unfortunate that in our championship race, we took such a big swing, and good Lord, did we miss by a mile on that swing.
And to that point, I love Goodyear trying to make swings at the tire and make improvements, but not in the championship race.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is the biggest problem that I have. You can make tires, but that's what the regular season and the practices are for. When they have these tire tests, they take one driver from each manufacturer. That's where you can take swings. That's where you test the tires. I know this tire was used previously, but I think it was used at it was the option tire, if I remember correctly.
The option tire
when they did that.
Yeah.
But I just taking swings in a championship race with everything on the line is what I'm against the most about it.
Take a swing at the fourth race of the season next year at Phoenix, right? We don't care. When we go to the championship race, the tires should be a factor, but it should not be the factor of the race. And that's exactly what it was. That's our big complaint. And I know I always go to stick and ball sports, but I mean, that's a big complaint in stick and ball sports, right? When refs take the game out of the players' hands, right? That's exactly what happened here. Not exactly, but that's kind of what happened here. It was taken out of the hands of the drivers in a sense. Like, obviously, Denny had the fastest car. Denny was good at reserving his tires. Byron as well. But at the end of the day, somebody out there in the field was going to blow a tire. And if they blow a tire and somehow miraculously, I know Larson and Briscoe both were able to save without a caution, but Hocevar is not going to be able to save without a caution. And other people aren't. Like, somebody's going to blow their tire and they're just going to wreck. And there's going to be a caution. So it was inevitable. I think Twitter was calling it a Goodyear roulette, which I think is a really good way to put it, because that's really what we just witnessed was Goodyear roulette. And unfortunately, with 3 laps to go, we got a shot fired, and that was the shot that ended Denny Hamlin's championship run. But it does not feel like it, but we have actually talked for 37 minutes. I'm not trying to end it or anything. We can go as long as we need. But Bull, is there anything you want to get off your chest? Any point of the race that we haven't touched on? Chat, if there's anything you guys want us to talk about, please go ahead and talk about it. Spencer is asked how many days till Daytona 500. Too many. Good Lord, I already miss it. But real question is how many days to Atlanta? But Bull, was there anything else you wanted to anything that part of the race that we should probably talk about? Or
that was Hamlin and Byron's race. Both of them deserve to win that race or that championship. I was rooting for Hamlin. I've wanted him to win it. I love Hamlin. But I wouldn't even have been mad if Byron would have won it. They're more the top 2 cars all race long. And then to have a tire blow and Kyle Larson win it that's the issue for me.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we could be having a completely different conversation if we have a decent Goodyear tire, if we have the Hamlin and Byron short run versus long run dynamic play out. Think if we had a 100-lap green flag run to end the race. Think about if we had that, and we have one pit stop in that stretch, and then we have Hamlin really fast for the short run. He goes out to a 3-second lead or whatever. Byron's pulling back. Hamlin decides to short pit because he's better on the short run, so he's trying to undercut Byron. Maybe Byron stays out a couple extra laps to try and get him on the back end, and then it comes down to the final finish. That is a completely different conversation that these last 39 minutes become instead of the conversation that we're having right now. And instead, it's just, every 45 laps there was a caution. I went to go look at what the longest green flag run was, and I didn't get it.
How do you think
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
How do you think NASCAR feels after these 3 races in the championship with the format? How do you think they come out of the weekend? What do you think they come out thinking?
What I'm curious what the ratings are first of all, because that
Yeah.
probably plays a part in what they will be thinking. But without the ratings in play, I mean, they're probably thinking like they're probably happy Denny Hamlin didn't win because of how awkward that would be. But they're also likely, thinking about probably thinking it was a very entertaining race, because if I'm being honest, that might have been the most entertaining from a just pure entertainment standpoint Final Four race ever. Like, I'm trying to think of one that was that had me that locked in from stage 3, right? And really pretty much throughout the race. As soon as I saw like how that first stage went, I was like, all right, Hamlin, Byron, maybe Briscoe, and this is going to be a race. And we didn't really get that, but we still, at the end of the day, I think it was an entertaining product in the just sense of how random it was. I don't think it was a good type of entertainment. There are bad types of entertainment. I think that's kind of what ended up getting put on. But really, Hamlin could have sunk it home. And I'm not even talking about this if we didn't have that late race caution that's been talked about so much. But Ben, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just talking about the race, going back to what Bull said, I mean, yeah, this is definitely, I kind of viewed this race as Hamlin versus Byron. I mean, I mean, like we talked about, Hamlin had a really strong car. Byron, he had a strong car as well. He was up there for, I think he had the lead for like 50 laps. But yeah, I mean, these are two guys that definitely deserve to win the championship. I mean, I was definitely pulling for Denny for sure. I mean, even though William Byron was my pick, out of all 4 drivers, I wanted to see one of those two pull it out. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a great battle between those two guys throughout the race, and definitely got exciting, I should say, excuse me, at the end. But yeah, I mean, overall though, what a battle. But unfortunately, just sucks the way it ended though, with William Byron blowing a tire and ultimately costing Denny Hamlin that first championship. I mean, and who knows? I mean, this is probably his last time that he might compete for a championship. But yeah, just definitely unfortunate for driver number 11.
Yeah, I want to point to the chat. Hunter asked, "What's your dream playoff format for next year?" I think I'm still on the full season format train. I'm perfectly fine with the 10 race chase. I just want something to where instead of the final race being the end all be all, let there be a 10 race storyline form. Like, think if this was like a 4-way points battle for the championship. Like, if it was that, or if it was a 3-way or whatever, 2-way. Like, think if this was mano y mano at Phoenix. Sure, we're not maybe watching who's winning the race as much, but we're watching Byron and Hamlin battle it out for a championship, something that has been forming over the past 10 races, something that Byron just got his way back into the championship race with the win at Martinsville, and Hamlin blowing his engine at the end. Like, this isn't exactly how the season would have played out, but just think if that was a storyline instead of, well, we all came to this race and Hamlin had the fastest car and Byron had the fastest long run car, but Larson won the race, so he's the champion, or didn't even win the race. Larson beat them both, so he's the champion. I just think that's something other than that. And I'm fine with the chase. Actually, I've been working on a what if. I love the storylines that I'm building around chases. Like, chases are really fun to build storylines around. And then I get to the playoffs and it's like, well, do I make a graphic about the top 6 drivers? Not really, because they're locked in, right? So I got to make a graphic about the cut line. Well, then I have to point out that Dale Jr. finished 15th at this track, and somebody else finished 12th at this track. So they get in. So I find it a lot more fun to talk about like a run somebody has made it throughout the chase, as opposed to who was able to sneak into the next round after race 3. Like, think about Toyota's dominance the first 3 races of the playoffs. Think about that on a chase scale. Chase Briscoe had a 6th place average finish throughout the playoffs. I need to fact check this, but if we had a chase, he probably would have won it, assuming he didn't maybe blow an engine at Martinsville, but he at least would have been definitely in 1st or 2nd. So you even have that to talk about. He has that 6th place average finish to bank on. So having something more than just whoever brought the best car to the track and happened to be in the best circumstances just fits so much better for me. But that's another spiel for another day when we finally figure out what our playoff format will be.
I love the playoffs in general. I love the cut line races. I'm in the boat of the 3-3-4. Have 2 cuts, and then have 4 races to decide your champion. If we had,
I have a question.
Okay.
What about when you're in the next round? Do you agree with that, or you think the top?
No, I think just the top drivers. Then you have 4 races to decide your championship, and it doesn't even have to be 4 drivers. If you want to have 6 drivers or 8 drivers, however, with 4 races to decide, then because for instance this year Hamlin won at Vegas. He didn't have to worry about Talladega. He didn't have to worry about Martinsville. If your final 4 was Las Vegas, Talladega, Martinsville, Phoenix, we're having a completely different conversation right now.
This is an outstanding point.
Yeah. But instead we have one driver who didn't even have to worry about 2 of the last 4 races, and he could just focus on Phoenix.
That's a great point. I wholeheartedly agree with that, and that honestly kind of flipped me. I can easily. I wasn't really for the 3-3-4, but if we have to have a playoff format, go ahead and do that. Because think if Denny Hamlin doesn't have to take off Martinsville and Talladega, he has a cushion going into Phoenix. He doesn't have to beat the other guys necessarily, but he just has to finish 6th. Maybe he has a 5-point lead on Larson, so just finishing 6th isn't the end of his championship. So, yeah, I agree. If we have to go this route of the playoffs, and I do agree, Bull, I think there's very engaging. The cutoff races are very entertaining, but it's the fact that once you've won and gotten to the next round, you don't have to care about the other 2 races, and we don't have to care about your story anymore until the next round. And then even then, if you want to race in that, then it's gone. I think it's a good point. But Ben, what is your dream playoff format for next year?
Yeah, I definitely like the playoffs. I mean, it definitely keeps me on the edge of my seat as a race fan. But I just feel like we need to go back to the full point system. I would definitely like them to bring back the chase, but overall, NASCAR needs to come up with ways to try to make consistency matter, because obviously it doesn't matter in the sport today, because I think back to the Xfinity race over the weekend, for example. We all know Connor Zillage, he dominated the season, winning 10 races and breaking the record for most consecutive top 5 finishes. And he led in every category this year, and yet he doesn't win the championship. So I just feel like with all that data, they're going to look back on that. Hopefully NASCAR looks back on that specific race and try to put some ideas together on how can we award consistency, because at the end of the day in the Xfinity Series, Connor Zillage is the real champion. Don't get me wrong, Jesse Love is a great race car driver. He's got a bright future, but as a race fan, we need to bring consistency back. Consistency matters in Formula One. Consistency matters in IndyCar. So I just feel like NASCAR needs to bring that back, because we need to award consistency. And but yeah, overall, I just feel like they definitely need to bring back the full points format or bring back the chase. But yeah, something to award the most consistent drivers, because we don't need another 2024 Logano. So yeah, that's my take.
2024, 2022, or 2020, 2018 Logano. Logano should have 0 championships, especially in 2018, dude. The big 3. What a time to be alive. Anyways, funny you brought up Formula One. Well, I'll get back to the chat in a second, but you brought up Formula One. I'm not going to act like I've been watching Formula One, because it's literally just tune in and see who's leading. But what I will point is that full season format, McLaren was blistering fast the first half of the year, the point was to where I just stopped watching. Oscar Piastri had a pretty good lead on Lando Norris. All of a sudden, his teammate Lando has just a 1 point lead over Oscar Piastri, the young gun. And then who else but Max Verstappen? Max Verstappen. Okay, I don't like Max Verstappen, but yeah, there's that. He's only about 30 points back with I think 3 races to go in the season, 2 races to go. However many races, there's at least a handful of races left. Any one of those 3 could win it. And Red Bull's been so blistering fast that they could just win all 3 and win the championship out of nowhere. Or McLaren, who's been the best all season, could end up holding on. That's a much more, I think, entertaining battle than NASCAR. Now, not on the track. I'm not trying to say F1's more entertaining on the track. Don't get it twisted here. To call F1 entertaining is a stretch most times, but it'll be interesting. I'll be tuning in to see what that championship battle wraps up like. But looking back to the chat, we were talking about our dream playoff format. Sniper Kitty made an outstanding point. We don't even know what the Chevy body is going to be for 2026. I would assume a variant of the Camaro. Hopefully they find more speed, but they just want championships. So I guess they don't necessarily do that. Yeah, we don't know. I honestly I don't think there's really been a hint of it at all, right?
No, I don't think so. No,
not that I've seen. I mean, it'll probably just be something we'll have to bring up. But going on down the list, the biggest thing that NASCAR executives, Spencer said this, are going to have to realize when considering is NASCAR is not a stick and ball sport. I agree with that to a point. I also do see the other side of that's who we're competing with. So we need to find a happy medium of how do we make it unique to NASCAR, but also make it entertaining to where people will tune in, because that's when the big decline happens in ratings, is when stick and ball sports come on. You're not necessarily going to win it by doing the same thing that they're doing, I think. And I think that's where the playoffs have fallen short. But Jenner said a Chevy Blazer. Can you imagine pulling up in the Chevy Blazer?
Chevy Blazer.
That could go really hard. Remember when NASCAR was making they're going to make an electric SUV series or something weird like that? I haven't heard anything about that. I remember an announcement of it, but haven't seen anything about it. But trying to get through the chat here. But Spencer, that's a good point. I think there's a happy medium. I think we do need to try and find ways to compete with stick and ball sports, but I think some of those ways are to do your own thing and be unique from the stick and ball sports. I think that's where the playoffs kind of have blended in with stick and ball sports. But I think the chase is a happy medium. It gives you that, okay, there is a new season there, but it's a new season. It's not a new 3 weeks and then a new 3 weeks and then a new 3 weeks, or the 3-3-4. Points only drivers should have to try every race. I think that I agree with that, whether that be
absolutely
a points postseason or a points based regular season. I think having drivers be able to take races off is just a disappointment to the sport. Jenny said was expecting Ben to go to the chase because of Jimmy. It's a good point. That's if Carl won 7 championships, I would probably be pushing more for the chase format as well. And then Spencer said again, and I guess I'll let Bull address this. He said, if you do a system like Bull, I would like to see top regular season finishers get a nice boost to start out the playoffs. I agree with that. What are your thoughts on that, Bull?
So I don't even mind that. I don't like how everything basically resets. So say you keep your points at, say, with 12 races left or whatever, or 10 races left. You just draw a line at how many ever cars you want. Those are the ones racing. You don't have to reset points. It would kind of still be like a full season championship to an extent. Do something like that. But how everybody resets to 2,000 and you have your playoff points. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could get on board with doing something different. But like I said, I like the elimination race. I brought up the point a couple weeks ago. Since since NASCAR went to these playoffs, or the next gen car, the only real true moments that I can remember are some of the playoff races. The Hell Melon, the Charlotte Road Course, couple incidences that we've had, just a few incidents like that. So I don't know, something I like that aspect of it, which I think we need to keep that. But and that's the main reason why I like that format.
Yeah. No, I agree. I see the value in it. And I think pretty well my stance is anything but what we just had. Anything but a one race, bring it down. It can bring a satisfying championship like it did for me in 2020, or it can bring a very dissatisfying championship like every championship since 2020 other than Blaney. Maybe I'm biased just because I like Blaney, but yeah, I think we just need something else to where one race does not define the champion.
For sure. I agree.
What was the next one? That's when Chinner said the Chevy Blazer. And there's a fan made. I'll look it up, see if I can show it on the, or if you send it to me, I can show it off on my phone on the broadcast. So I'd love to see that. And then he says do a 3-3-4 top 13 auto locked into the playoffs. And then right, hold on, Chinnery typing into the playoffs. 14 through 16 could be wild card spots, and I'm going to assume that he said he texted. All right, I'll show that in a second. I'm assuming by wild card he means top 13 in points get in, and then 14 to 16 become when and you're in spots. So like in a situation like this season, if I pull up the post, what race would that have been? Cut off was Daytona. So if I look at the post Daytona points, we would have had Ryan Blaney won that race. He was obviously in. We would have had William Byron, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell. I switched. Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, and Ross Chastain all would have been locked in on points. And then Ryan Preece would have been kicked out because he didn't have a win. Cindric would have been in because he had a win, but he also would have been on points technically. Gibbs would have been kicked out. SVG would have found his way in. And then I'm trying to think of who our other out of the blue winner was. Austin Dillon would have gotten that third spot, I believe. And then if like there's 4 outside of the top 16, then SVG probably would have been kicked out because he was like 25th in points. So unless Dillon happens to be behind that, which he might have, then he would be kicked out. So instead of going to that, I do like that. I think that's a good way to get the best of both. If you want a win to secure your way in, you can have that with the wild card, but you got to also make sure that you stay in front of everyone else who has a win outside of that top 16. Because really the only person we're cutting out here is Ryan Preece and Ty Gibbs, who both had Preece had a great season. Gibbs had a season. And so I'm not as butthurt about that as I am Chris Buescher, who had a 10th place finish in the points, or was 10th place at this point, not making the playoffs. So I like that. That's a great point by Chinnery. Do you guys agree on that? Starting with Ben.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that for sure. I mean, with the wild card idea, I feel like that'd be something to consider for sure. I mean, I would definitely like to see that idea for sure. But it would be interesting.
Bull?
Yeah, I'm pretty much game for anything but what we just had, and I've been the one rooting for it. But I see Sniper send another message, and that goes. So he said, "What incentives do drivers that are not in the playoffs have for doing good other than maybe a paycheck from finishing position?" But in the full season, you're going to have 50% of your drivers eliminated halfway, pretty much. So the playoffs at least gives the Cody Wares, they at least have something to race for all the way up to the playoffs. If they find a way to win that Daytona race, the cutoff race, they're in the playoffs. So I think that gives more drivers more reason to compete for longer than a full season.
Chenry has sent the Chevy Blazer, and I'm not going to lie. It's fire. See if the glare will allow. Maybe. Can't really see it. Oh, I found the angle. So it pretty much looks the same, except if you look at the front, that's the important part here. Oh, no, that's not really coming through as well as I thought it would. Got a little glare. Maybe if I turn down my brightness. But, yeah, Chevy Blazer car, let's do it. I'm down. Yeah, that helped a little bit.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Chevy ends up cooking up with their new body. Blazer probably will not be the one, but maybe it can look something like that. But we've caught up on the chat there. We've definitely exhaustively talked about the race. We've talked about what format we want to see. I think unless anybody else in the chat has anything to talk about, I think we probably are about wrapped up. I will obviously throw it to you guys if you have anything you want to add before we end the stream. I do want to tell everyone to keep an eye out for. We'll be doing a recap probably Monday or Tuesday of next week, so not this coming week, the week after. We kind of want to just kind of bookend the season, talk about everybody's season. So it'll be kind of one of these. We'll have obviously better preparation. This one was definitely a lot of just shooting from the hip. I think we did a good job. Good job, guys. But definitely want to have a little more prep for that one. Or where we'll be, recapping everyone's season, who we thought did well, who we thought didn't do well. But this is the part where I'll go ahead and throw it to you guys. If you have any more topics you want to bring up, if there's something from the weekend that came out, I know there was some talk about, but I think more stuff was revealed in the lawsuit. So if there's anything, I think we maybe will save that for another day once, we get to court and whatnot. But yeah, if there's anything that you guys want to bring up from the week or what, I said whatnot like 5 times. So I'll just go ahead and throw it to you, Ben. You got anything?
Yeah, so with Kyle Larson becoming now a 2-time Cup Series champion, he's now, I don't know if you guys know this, but he's now the 3rd driver at Hendrick to win at least 2 titles, joining Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. So that's a remarkable stat right there.
Absolutely. And I think you said for the show, like 18th driver to be a multiple champion.
Yes, yeah. 18th driver to to become a 2-time champ.
Yeah, we've had a lot of conversation, not about our champion and not about what this means for Kyle Larson. Just regardless, winning the championship, that'll be on his record for whether we like it or not for the rest of his career.
Not my champion.
Not your champion.
Yeah.
So regardless, he has 2 championships to his name, puts him in an elite class of drivers, and I do respect that in itself. Not my champion, but he is the NASCAR champion, so that's what we have to abide by here in good old NASCAR world. But Bull, is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap up this show?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. It's devastating for Denny. I feel bad for him, especially with the incident with his dad. Everything that he's going through right now is just he deserved to win that. Not even just for that, but he had the best car today. Just Goodyear screwed him.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. Say what you want about the format or anything. Like, he did everything he needed to do to win that race, to win that championship, and outside forces got in the way of that. But Ben, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I mean, after now that the season's wrapped up, we just need to try to find more make consistency matter, and not bring that Goodyear tire back to Phoenix ever again, back to a championship race, I should say. But yeah, it's
definitely don't bring that tire back. Put a little more, give it a little more grip,
Yeah, but that was definitely Denny's championship, and I know we talked about it, but as a fan, I definitely feel for him. I mean, the guy's accomplished so much; he deserves a championship. He proved it all year. I mean, led all the drivers in wins, getting 6 on the year. But yeah, I mean, just definitely disappointing for sure.
Yeah. Well, with that, I want to let everybody know that we will be taking a little hiatus over the off season. We will have emergency episodes when news comes out, perhaps live, perhaps recorded. We'll see just how the scenario goes. But the two that we have circled of when they drop, we plan on making episodes about are the whatever new championship format comes out. When that is announced, we want to do an emergency episode about that. And then also when the court day was at like the 5th
December 1st.
It's December 1st. So December 1st, be ready for maybe a live stream from us that day. And those are the two big dates in the off season. We'll have an episode coming out next week grading everyone's regular season. And then we plan on taking off just a little break. And we have a lot of stuff that we kind of want to work on improving this show for you guys. Maybe more live streams in the future. That's definitely something we've been talking about. So we'll definitely sit down, talk about it, get some improvements across the board, and get ready to hit the ground running in season 3 of the Slide Job podcast, or 2026, if you count season 1 as a season. I think me and Chenry got like 10 episodes in before Google like ended their podcast platform, and we just we didn't know how to like adjust. So we just ended it. Chenry requests more Chenry. Well, Chenry, you're gonna have to get some votes to get on the show for more Chenry. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think that's it. If there's anything, we're not necessarily signing off for the year because, like I said, we'll be back next week. But is there anything you want to say sign off for the NASCAR season, Ben?
No, I think I'm good.
Cool.
I feel like the way this ended was a perfect way to sum up the 2025 season. I mean, what else could you expect?
Nothing. If you really want to look back, I mean, there never really has been a true favorite outside of when Bell rattled off 3 wins in a row and then disappeared for all purposes other than a win or 2, I think, All-Star and whatnot. So, yeah. But I guess also kind of circling back to that conversation, if you guys have any suggestions for us, be sure to either comment them down below. If there's any off-season videos you want us to do, we'll have a good chunk. We plan on coming back like maybe after Christmas, maybe do a video or 2 before Christmas. We'll see. Holiday times, you know how it goes. But we'll definitely be back by 2026, and we'll have previews and whatnot. But if you guys have any ideas, anything you want to see us do, we could do a top 50 drivers of all time or something like that. If you guys want to see a series like that, we could do that. Absolutely. Just, comment down below or hit any of us up on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, you can follow me at LLC__99. I still got it. That was a beautiful segue. Oh man, I probably just ruined it there. Ben at Ben Miller, PXP, Bull at Bull_81818, and Screw It at Chenry20, Chenry at Chenry_20, or whatever the hell your Twitter is, Chenry, since you're in the chat. I'll give you a shout out as well. But thank you all for tuning into this live stream, this impromptu live stream. We kind of were just planning on recording it, and then shout out Spencer. He texted me. He's like, "You guys should go live." And I kind of got the thought in my head. Bull said it crossed his mind. I was like, "Shoot, why not?" So here we are. Thank you all for being active in the chat and keeping this show going. And yeah. Well, thank you for this is the first episode since 400 subscribers, so I will also say thank you for that. Big one video definitely helped with that. So if you haven't seen that, check out why the content creator series flopped. I'll be watching closely to see how the one goes on Wednesday, and if I feel the need to make a video, I will. If not, I won't. But we have been streaming for 69 minutes, so I think that's a beautiful time to call it an episode, a nice time, if you will, to call it an episode. So you all have a nice evening and a nice rest of your week. We will see you all in the next one. Peace.